We've all heard of how little artists earn from streaming services. Aside from digital service providers like Spotify getting a cut, the label and other entities that are involved in the career also take a cut. And of course, as fans, we want our favorite artists to get as much of the income as they can from the music that they made. So why won't they just upload their music directly on streaming platforms and cut the middleman? The simple answer is that they can't, at least not in the major ones. Why won't they just directly sell the CDs to physical stores or online stores like Amazon? The answer is because it's not as easy as you think it is. Let's go through some of the things that an artist has to consider and plan for if they actually want to release their music, not just in their local countries, but internationally, specifically the US. Hi! If you do end up liking this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, please subscribe and hit that notification button so that you know when there's a new video coming out. And more importantly, please share the video and please share the channel. It's really, really helping. Thank you so much. Okay, music distribution. I got this question several months ago. I finally got around to it. And many are wondering, why can't artists just upload directly on Apple Music, on Spotify and other music streaming services so that they get all the income and cut the middleman? Okay, let's go back to the video. Digital music distribution. In all major platforms, you need a distributor to distribute your music to their platforms. These major platforms include Spotify, Apple Music, Pandora, YouTube Music, Amazon Music, and a few others. Artists can directly upload their own music, but they still need a distributor. So, the question is, why do they need a distributor? That's the obvious question. Why aren't artists allowed to distribute the music that they made? Number one, legalities. If they open up, imagine the amount of copyright infringing music, remixes, and others that people will have the freedom to just upload. This is exactly what happened to SoundCloud and why they almost folded. Part of the issue is how artists are paid. If I steal a song and upload it as my own, that's copyright infringement. In theory, Spotify should be able to identify that the rights to a song belong to someone else. YouTube is actually able to do that, but that is not 100% accurate. Also, everything a user uploads actually costs money for the business to store and maintain. Running that song through an algorithm to check if it infringes anything will cost money. Requiring a distributor keeps shitty stuff off the platform and keeps costs lower. Distributors are now in charge of figuring it all out. So if I use Eminem's rap in a song I wrote, they will ask for proof I was allowed to do that. If I'm unable to produce proof, they will show me a way. Yes, it is legality, but also a way for them to protect themselves from paying for songs that weren't used with permission. Quality control. Do you know how much garbage there are in platforms like SoundCloud that allow anybody to upload their own music? Having a middleman keeps the service to a certain level of quality. YouTube's main thing is still user-generated content, so no one's exactly expecting Netflix kind of experience when they are on YouTube. DistroKid, a distribution service, for example, makes sure your album art looks professional. They make sure you aren't using the same art in multiple songs. They make sure that the quality of your song recording is professional level. They actually even screen artist name and others. You can't just have crazy capitalization and random characters in your name. It's cheaper to stop the crap from getting on Spotify than try and remove it. It's also practical. That's the other aspect of it, the practicality side. There are more than 100 different online music platforms all over the world. Each of these platforms has a different legal and technical requirement, from file format to covers to legal documentations. If you distribute your music directly digitally, you will have to do all this one by one. Is that really worth your time? Even if you target only the top 5, assuming they are allowing artists to go to them directly, that could still take days. An amount of time that you can just spend creating more music or promoting yourself. Physical music distribution. Physical distributors are essentially wholesale intermediaries between record labels or artists and the retail outlets, like record and department stores. These companies can vary in type. Some specialize in music and entertainment sales, and others deliver a host of products to retailers. Record labels. Most record labels and independent distributors actually have agreements with wholesale, allowing the record label to stock their physical records in stores across the country and even across the world. This is a big advantage because they already have the utilities, platform, facilities, and technology to ship your CDs and other merchandise in hundreds of locations. You don't have to worry about payments, returns, permits, monitoring, and even promotions. Consignment. Now, if you want to do it yourself, yes, you can definitely do that. And you usually do it via consignments. Many record stores are open to this because they like helping independent artists. You give them X number of CDs, sometimes just 2, but there are others who will actually take in more. Now, when they sell it, they take their cut and give you the balance when you drop off a couple more CDs to restock. Now, you can either call them to check on the inventory periodically, or you can actually hit the stores personally so that you can see whether you need to restock your CDs. Typically, the stores will take 30% and then return to you any unsold inventory. The challenge with this is that you'll have to negotiate a deal with each of the individual store or chain. The obvious limitation is reach. You don't want to be traveling to the whole of US or Europe to distribute your CD. Doing business in the US is complicated. If you want to distribute to the whole of the US, even if assuming you're willing to travel, you still need to register yourself as a business in every state and then pay your taxes in every state. Online store like Amazon and others. Yes, if you want to just distribute your music or CDs or merch in stores like Amazon, you can definitely do that. But before you do, there are requirements to be fulfilled. You need a bank account, definitely, for the company. You also need to obtain trademark registration for your brand in the US from the USPTO. You also have to make sure that you have proper documents, that you are a registered business, and that all of these documents are actually written or legally translated in English. You, of course, need to show proof of ID like a passport. And you need to have valid UPC codes for all the products you intend to sell on Amazon or other online stores in the US. So obviously, there are different types of distributors. You can go to major labels like Sony, Warner, and Universal. We have already discussed the advantages and the disadvantages of working with big labels. Now, there are also independent distributors. There's digital bulk distributors like CD Baby, TuneCore, DistroKid, Reverb Nation, 1RPM. Specialty distributors. These distributors only work with independent record labels or indie artists with clout. They offer a wide range of services. Often, they actually include physical distribution and are mostly invite only, and they are business-to-business oriented. Examples of this are The Orchard, InGrooves, Fuga. There are also physical wholesalers. These companies have vast logistical networks and warehousing resources. They service big box retailers and independent record stores with physical music products and maintain agreements with record labels to do so. They also often distribute their products such as toys, accessories, and apparel for their clients. White label distribution is another option. They help independent labels and independent artists as well to handle the distribution service. This means that they will handle things like delivering metadata to DSPs and distributing royalties to rights holders, while their client get to maintain creative control over distribution and marketing techniques. Two examples would be Sonos Suite and Consolidated Independent. Now that we understand distribution a little better, Artists also need to make sure that if they are doing everything independently, they should fulfill some legal requirements so as to protect themselves. That includes making sure that they actually register their publishing rights. They also need to register their copyrights. They need to clear licenses, and they need to set up their profile on all streaming platforms. They also need to create marketing materials like electronic press kits, their own website, and think of other ways to promote themselves. Another huge component of distribution is sync. So they can make your songs available to YouTube and other video platforms so that people can use it for their videos, and then you get a share of their of the earnings. They can also get your music available for syncs for TV and movie soundtrack. So they will either get you help connected with sync managers, licensing managers, or they actually have in-house licensing managers to help you. So in theory, you can really do it yourself. So you cut the middleman, you get all the earnings. But I guess the end question is, what is your main goal? If your main goal is to really understand everything, then yes, you can do it yourself. You're going to have to set up your own distribution company and all of that stuff. And it will be worth your while if your end goal is to become a distributor. But if all you really want is to get your music distributed, there are, as I've said, some barriers like Spotify and Apple Music requiring you to get distributors. But the other thing is that in this day and age, streaming income will not be enough to sustain you from a financial perspective. So touring, getting endorsement deals, getting shows, appearances, those will pay more. So music in a sense is your essence, but it's not going to be your currency. Okay, so it's not going to it will help you give other people a reason to pay you, but it won't be the main reason to pay you. So if you end up devoting all of your time on making sure your music gets distributed digitally and physically, and you don't have time to create more music, grow as an artist, promote yourself, establish a relationship with your subscribers and your fans, then that won't be a wise decision from a business perspective. As I've said, unless your goal is to learn all of this because you want to be a distributor in the future. So distributors actually usually they have a flat fee. So it does have a cost. But one of the most important lessons I've learned when I set up a business is that I do need to value my time, like put a monetary value in my time, so that when I am about to do something, I can pretty much calculate whether it's wiser and more efficient if I pass that on to somebody instead of me doing it. If I would spend more time doing that instead and take away from my core the things that I should actually be doing, then it would be better to just pay somebody to do it. So as an artist, I think you need to be very honest when it comes to your skill, your time, your resources, and of course, your end goal. So unfortunately, the complications that an artist encounters when doing business in the US is it's more complicated than you will ever think. And primarily it's because of legalities. It's because of the laws. Things are set up the way they are because to a certain extent the justice system works. So you need to make sure that you don't get into legal trouble. Okay, I would love to hear your thoughts. Of course, that's just one aspect of distribution. There's a whole lot more that's involved in it. That was just the icing on the cake. But I would love to hear your take. I would also love to hear your suggestions. If you want any other topics, let me know. Leave them in the comment section below. Or if you disagree with the things that I said, you want to add to it, you want to correct some things, go ahead. But just make sure that you do so respectfully. And of course, you can always get in touch with me in any of the social media links that you see on your screen right now. But more importantly, please subscribe, hit that notification button and give it a like. And more importantly, please share it because it's helping my channel. Thank you. See you next time.